Airfix Club 2025 Red Box edition. So the club box is always the same, and inside for year 2025 there was the Messerschmitt Me410A-3, and of course there's the rest of the goodies inside, so let's get everything outside. So first off, the 2025 keyring. It's always nice to see those remove before flight type of keyrings. And on the back there's Airfix logo, says remove before assembly. And on the other side it's the type of the airplane included in this year's, or better said that year's kit. And I don't know what they did with the design here, because they clearly used the black thread, so they could have done also the Airfix logo with black, and they also used white and could do the Balkenkreuz with white, but at least the RAF roundel is in all color. And also on the back they only did it in white, so I don't know if that's intentional or just a mistake, like in the design process where a layer of color disappeared in the design. It's quite usual with vector design if you don't pay attention. But anyway, it looks nice. Also included is the flying hours passport. It's pretty much the standard. You can collect hours, and yeah, according to this list, you need so many hours for such kits, so series 1 or 2, 3 or 4, 5 or 6, or 7 to 9. So basically, to get a series 1 kit, you have to collect 16 of those. That's about, I don't know, less than 7% discount that you get, but it's good to have something free, but it's only worth for the UK members, so rest of the world, yeah, doesn't pay out. Also, stickers are included in the 2025 edition. Same paper and as is in the 2026 edition. So as I mentioned there, I don't know if they're waterproof, if you can use them outdoors, but I already use mine from indoors, so all good. And I totally forgot, it was also the last year's gimmick, this door knob thing. So it's a little bit, or the same design, I think it's the same design. So welcome, Let's Talk Modeling, sponsored, or better said, in support of Models for Heroes. And on the backside, do not disturb, modeling in progress. So that's it. And yeah, the poster for 2025 was quite a disappointment. Again, A4 modeling checklist, so select kit, workspace organize, the in-build refreshments, commence the build, emergency procedures, stash level low, remain calm, replenish stash, Airfix Club. So I assume they want to do a different design every year, so if you collect them you have a few different ones, not every year the same, which is good if you're a common member, but if you're a new member this was quite a disappointment. And again, the welcoming letter, it's again a generic one, so no mention of your name, which I find disappointing, because they totally could have done that, because as far as I saw from the boxes, they're like limited to 6,000 kits. So at least what's wrote in there, maybe they have more of those, I don't know, but You could totally do this 6,000 times, no issues, but I think they use generic ones because this is produced in India and then they send it to UK, so it would be a hassle to drop a personal letter in every package, but I think that would be rather nice for every club member to have their name on, and then you can also frame this and be proud that you're a member. So it feels depersonalized. It's like you're not a member at all. So yeah, I don't know if that's a thing, or maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, that's how I feel about this letter. So no value basically. But the kit for the year 2025 was quite an interesting one and quite a surprising one, because that year also this tooling came, or better said, the year prior, it was only a few months prior, this kit was fresh. So it was quite a surprise, and I love unusual schemes, so this is basically because I got it. This is the prototype, so better said not the prototype because of the P, but the test airframe that the RAF used at the end of the war. It was a captured one, so they did some trials to see what the airplane can do and how to fight it. But yeah, anyway, also a little controversy with this kit. In every picture that was shown in the promo material and also on their website, there were two build kits, one next to each other, and I was assuming that I also will get two kits, because it's not uncommon to get two kits in the Airfix Club Red Box. But they did not do that with this one, because basically this kit is a little bit expensive, like 25 plus pounds. So yeah, they also mentioned that contains one model with two decal sets. So what I saw that a lot of people are doing in this case, either they get another one, but the most interesting solution what I saw is that they paint it half. So on the left side you have, for example, this one, and on the right side you have that one. So it's quite an eye catcher. But yeah, depends on how you like your airplanes. Do you like them like realistic, or do you want to have that gimmick, so to commemorate your membership in the club with such unusual half scheme? So both solutions are interesting, but in this case you can build only one. And let's see what's under the box. The box art is like every Airfix Club box art, and yeah, if you flip it you'll see the schemes, and on the bottom side there's only information, and of course no flying hours here. So it's quite tightly packed, as you can see full to the brim. So let's get everything outside. So let's check first the instructions. They're like I think a little bit bigger than A4. No, it just seems so. They're exactly A4, but they're nicely folded. I think a machine did this, so that's nice, so that you have big instructions in the box, so you don't have a fold out like the old Matchbox for example, or like Revell used to do. So this is quite nice. And of course for the new tooling, it's the so-called CAD instruction, and this one is updated to in comparison to the 2010s version, where they did everything two-toned, like grayscale. Here you have like additional colors, like blue for the clear parts, and the red for the parts that are already used in the previous step. So that's how it goes. And I think in some steps there's also what you need to cut, I think. Yeah, they also show the color that you need to apply for some of the parts because they stand out. And yeah, basically like 99% of the aircrafts you start directly in the cockpit. As this was like an attack bomber, they had to have a glass between their legs so that they can see the ground at a better angle so that they could attack more swiftly. So there's the seat, and already from the instructions you can see that's a pretty detailed kit. Lots of parts going on here, and yeah, basically that's the front of the cockpit assembled. And they already get to the wing, and depending on what version you want to build, they tell here in the instructions which holes you need to make with 0.8 millimeter drill. Then they continue with the wing assembly. There's the additional parts to have a better structure so that it's more rigid. I really like that in the new kits. And basically directly on the wing you install the gunner's tab, which faces backwards so that the gunner can see behind the tail and defend the airplane. This airplane, as you can see from those holes, had two side turrets which were controlled by wire, so electronically, so it was quite high tech for that period. And in comparison to the Me210, this was much more advanced and much more agile aircraft, and because it looks the same, many RAF pilots met their end to this aircraft because the previous version was quite bad. It couldn't defend itself, it wasn't so agile as this one, so this was quite a surprise to them. So this version was feared, and it's quite a nice design. And I think in one of the museum in England there's an untouched version, and I think they did the design by scanning that particular plane, which means this should be the most accurate kit there is. I only know there are actually 3 tools besides this one for this kit. I know only 2 of those. Those are the old Matchbox, which is quite inaccurate and lacks detail, but built in a quite decent kit, and a little bit more accurate Italeri one, but it also lacks details because yeah, it's a product of this time. I think it was tooled in the late 90s, so you can expect less details. But this one, I don't know, the fine molds one should be also good, but I think this one is the best option for this airplane. So lots of parts, lots of steps. They continue with engine nacelles, which you attach to the rest of the plane, and also depending I think on the version what you're doing with this part, because there are also with additional guns. And yeah, here are the engine intake air filters, coolers, and I think there's a little bit going on with the control surfaces, but yeah, it continues in that direction here. So the exhausts also, I think there was also a night version, so it should also have those covers on. And yeah, here it said how to apply glue for the turrets to have them moving. What I like to do with my models, if I want some moving parts, I install small neodymium magnets, so it holds and you can twist it and do whatever you want with them, or you could basically glue it as is and have it as a static display. So here's also the option to have tails up or down, so that's what they're showing, at least for the tail wheel, and I think in the next step they should also mentioned that for the main wheel if I didn't jump over that. So let's see. Yeah, they mentioned that here before. And yeah, the last step is the glass house, the canopy. So it's in 3 parts because it's quite a complex design. Italy has the same approach, but Matchbox has it in 1 part, so it's not so detailed, and this is a great solution. So you basically add the antennas and you're done, and you can jump to the scheme you want to build. So this is Italy, November 1943, and here is a small information about that particular scheme and which colors are used. Those are all Umbro, and I like that Airfix began to mention the RLM numbers also, because if you have the RLM number, then you can use other manufacturers. You don't have to use conversion tables and look which is which. And on the next page there is the RF version, and it's a common scheme for every test airplane during the Second World War. Also, they included some information here about it, and which I like most, stencils. So lots of them, and totally separate page for them, which I also like, so you have everything in detail. And the last page is blank here. So let's take a look at the decals. They're of course the best quality because they are made by Cartograph. So like I mentioned, lots of stencils. The only thing I don't like here is the numbers and the stencils are in same color, so you really need to watch what you are cutting there. But otherwise it looks nice. I think the colors are spot on. The German one is not so flashy, but at least they included the worn out Balkenkreuz on the top of the wing, which is nice, so you don't have to do any additional weathering to achieve that. So not a big sheet, but lots of decals included, so like 119 in total. So that's a lot. Then the plastic. It's like always packed in a big bag, which is great so that the parts don't get scratched. And there is lots of them. So let's see how many sprues there are. So 1 sprue, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and clear one is the 7th, which is also packed in a separate bag, so it doesn't get scratched, which is always welcome. So, but let's take a look one by one. So first the wings. So some really nice panel lines and some riveting going on. It's not excessive, and I think it's spot on when you get in with the primer and paints and varnish, then it should achieve that thin line as the real aircrafts have. I cannot see any riveting on the top, so that's missing here. So they assume every modeler will decide if they want to add additional rivets. Those are the air cooler parts, and beneath. Quite some modern engineering going on. And also there are guiding holes for the ones you will need to drill depending on the version. If there should be some additional fuel tanks or maybe bombs depending on the version. So yeah, they think quite ahead with this one, so it's nice to have parts included for a few different versions. Speaking of different versions, here is a separate sprue for the chin. So here does that window go that you as a pilot could look between your legs through. Some structure, a lot of antennas. One is almost came off, but it's still holding. And I like how they started doing the big letters on their tooling so that you can spot them right away. And of course 06 PS, meaning it's polystyrene, our favorite plastic. And what I really like about this kit, I think I'm not quite sure if it's the first one, but it's surely the one of the first ones that started using this more darker gray plastic, which I find much more pleasant to work with. It's a little bit harder, not that soft as standard Airfix light gray plastic, which tends to go a lot easier when you need to repair, cut something or sand. So this is much better. It reminds me of the Edward plastic, so it behaves almost the same. So I think they were going for that recipe. And yeah, that sprue, I assume in different versions this H sprue would be a different one to contain that big gun. I think it was like a 40mm gun. That one's for the destroyers, so they quite annihilated the B-17s and B-25s with that gun. So yeah, it was quite a scary plane. So here are the small parts, the prop spinners. Not that much detail, but they look nice. The exhausts are included and some other minor parts of the air cooler. And I think those are for those gun turrets on the sides. All in all, I cannot see any pinhole in uncommon places, so at least with those new kits they do quite a lot of thinking ahead when they engineer them. And I think what Airfix is doing with their latest kits in the last few years, like from 2023-24, they do quite modern kits, and I think it's on par with all the best manufacturers out there. So they have quite a great future ahead of them if they continue in this direction. Then the second sprue with small parts. I can see a few cockpit parts here, like instrument panels, side panels, the seat, some other stuff that goes in there with the gunner. I think this is the gunner control part right here. And this should be the pilot's control stick. And the rest, I think it's for the landing gear. This should be the tail wheel, so quite detailed. Like you can see the spokes, the tread, the hydraulic for it, so quite high-end engineering. I wouldn't add any resin details to this, or even a PE set. Maybe just for those thin antennas and so on, but you could totally build this out of the box and be quite happy with it. And here we come to the sprue containing one of the main parts, the left, no, that's the right fuselage part. Also included, I think this is the wheel wells, some additional cockpit parts. The wheels, they are superb for this scale. Like comparing what Airfix did like 15 years ago and what they do today, it's like it's a different company. So quite pleased with the new tools. You cannot go wrong if you buy them. And even the external fuel tanks are really nicely detailed, spot on, great stuff. Here are the front guns. I think this should be the engine nacelle, and those are the defense guns turrets that go on the side. And on the inside of the cockpit there's some guide pins. I don't know the pins, the ejection pins I see here. I think those should be covered by the side panels, so none should be visible. So this is a totally strategic placed ejection pin. I really liked the design. So whoever designed this really thought ahead. So you basically put another panel on top of it and all good. So not so much details on the inside, but when you put that canopy, I think in 1/72 scale, not much is visible. Here we can barely see some structure going on, but again, and that's quite a small hole to look through. Also when the landing gear is put in, then you won't see much inside. Also containing the same stuff. Like yeah, yeah, I wanted to talk about the second sprue, sorry. It also contains the same engine nacelle, and yeah, here's the left side of the fuselage, and also they provide here the tail surfaces in two versions. So one, I think it's parked position, so when you let the sticks and it goes in front, the tail sweeps back, or rather the other way around, because it's heavy because of the gravity, it's coming down. So this would be the correct tail horizontal surfaces for the parked plane. And yeah, the same thing on the other side, a little bit of different details, but also strategically placed ejection pins, all good there. So I think this is the vertical stabilizer. It's, I don't know why it's in two halves, but maybe it was too thick to produce in saying go, but that's also not an issue. And here are the props. Also, I really like this. I built a lot of prop planes, and this is my main grudge with other manufacturers, especially from the 90s and 80s. They put like gates here and here, then you have to cut it, send it down, and then it doesn't match on the rest, so you have to correct it. But here you have just those two, one already snapped off. You snap it here, you don't even have to correct it, you don't even have to send it, you just put the spinner on the top and all good. Really, really great design, really user friendly, and I don't see any sink marks here. Maybe slightly on this, but yeah, nothing out of the ordinary. So really, really great kit. And with that, I come to the final sprue, the clear parts. So again, they provided here the front and top part of the canopy for 2 different versions. So I assume they're gonna do a rebox of this kit with something else, especially that big gun. But otherwise, it's quite good. Let's take a look through the instructions. They're quite thin. I don't see any big distortion here. And the parts, I like this very much. It can be seen here, like when I place it on the RIF. So it's like foggy. So they designed that like that on purpose, which means that foggy part needs to be painted on. So quite nice. And this was basically the side view, and through those flat panels the back seater looked through on the left and the right, and defended the plane. And also through this big panel he could see the whole tail. And here are the parts, I don't know the curved ones what are for, but yeah, maybe the nose, different nose versions. Yes, that should be it. And this is the bottom window that the pilot looked through. This could also be the secondary window, because I think there were 2 panels of glass, so I think this was the armored glass between the cockpit and the guns, and the other one was between the guns and the outer side of the airplane. So that's it for the 2025 edition or of Airfix Club members exclusive limited edition kit that you could have bought from Airfix when you became a member in that year. It was a great year kit wise, so really recommend this. Also, if you get the normal version of this kit, which came a few months prior in year 2024, if I'm correct, there's nothing bad to say about this. There's no critic, so it's a really nice kit. If you are quick, it's still available through the Airfix Club if you become a member. One other great thing that I didn't mention in the previous video is that if you become a member at the start of the year, previous year kits are still available. So if you're quick enough, you can still get it. As much as I looked today, they were available, so don't wait. If you liked what I presented here, go and buy it. It's a really nice plane. Until the next one.